Okay, let's go again, answering some more questions. Again, as I said last time, same thing. Starting with sport, anything to do with sport, and then moving on to just everything else. Okay, so just while it's still fresh in my mind, I just want to add some more things towards my just add some more information to the question, to my answer to the question of how do I become a complete player. Okay, because I don't want people to start doing the wrong thing now, because I said a lot of things. So now just a general guide I'm gonna give you now. I said I told you the 4 areas that you can work on: your technique, your physicality, um, your understanding of the game, and also the social aspect, social slash psychological, whatever you want to call it, but basically your up here, your mental state, and also how you interact with others. You can kind of look at it this way. It's convenient. Okay, so I'm just gonna start. I said physicality. I talked about the importance of physical attributes in certain sports, and I said they're not as important in football, because obviously the more decisions you have to make, the less impact physical attributes have. So the more ways you have to win and to be successful, the less attributes are gonna matter. So depending on where you start from, your starting point first, before you choose what to do, you need to kind of make an evaluation, look at yourself and see where you're at. Okay, what am I good at, what am I not so good at? I would say, and a mistake that maybe I've made is when I looked at myself, I automatically focused on the weaknesses that I had in my game. And so in the long term, what that did is it made me a very well rounded, okay, but not very, not a specialist, but like a all rounder, if you can divide players into specialists and all rounders. So instead of me working on my strengths, making them better and better and better, I started, okay, I'm good at this and this. Okay, let me work. What am I not good at? Heading. Okay, let me start. What can I do? Jump higher, build up my physique, all this. Am I sometimes, maybe if I come up against a stronger player, so let me build up my physique. Okay, so I was always quick. Let me build up the physique so I can kind of dominate physically even more. Well, okay, in terms of attacking, I'm good. And I was thinking, okay, let me work on the defending. I need to be effective there. So long term, what happened, because I worked so much on my weaknesses and not so much on my strengths, it just kind of balanced out. So I'm at this level of everything. I can do everything. Even if I can give you an example of just different people that I've played with from different places. If you ask them what kind of player I am, no one can really give you an answer, okay? Because everyone sees a different side of me, because I'm so well rounded, and because of that, I only use certain things here and there. So try and work on your weaknesses, but at the same time, see where your strengths are and start developing the best skill that you think you have, or the thing that you think comes easiest to you. Start working on it. Okay, develop a deadly weapon, if you can call it that. Okay, one of your skills should be top level, and then when you bring everything else up, you're good, you're very good, but then this one thing really stands out, you know what I mean? And this can push you in front of most players. If you have that one skill that is like amazing, you know, think about players like some guy, or shot power, or different person dribbling, or a different person just passing, long passing, short passing, just one area, heading. How many players you've seen? Not so much anymore, but before, just great at heading, nothing else, heading. That's it. For some players, they, again, it's not so much anymore, but volleys. There were some players that had, like Robin van Persie. Bam! So develop a weapon. What is your weapon? What is the skill that that is like on a level above everyone else's? Work on that one thing while you're still working on it. So you need to find a balance. Okay, working on your weaknesses, but at the same time developing a strength in your skill set. So that's one thing in terms of skill. Another thing, I said, working on your physicality. How do you balance that with working on your skill? Because obviously both of those things require physical exertion, and you only have so much energy. Okay, you can only push yourself so far before you start getting injured and start being sore all the time, and you're stiff, your back, you can't move your back, your leg hurts, this, that, and the other, and then bad, not a good place to be. So instead of you developing faster, you all of a sudden you're developing slower because you're injured. So you don't want to get injured. So how do you balance working on your physique, on your physicality, physical attributes, and working on your technical attributes? I would say, depend again. You need to make an evaluation where you're at. Most people, like kids, and just most people that this question applies to, for them, for you, it would be more beneficial to work on your technique. Okay, prioritize technique because you're still lacking in many areas. Okay, so receiving the ball, passing the ball, shooting the ball, basics. Okay, basically receiving, releasing. Make sure technically you've got everything on point. Okay, especially receiving the ball, really important nowadays, because the ball is on the ground for the majority of the games. You need to be a master at receiving the ball. You can't have a bad touch anymore. Before, a bit easier. Nowadays, just first touch, very important. You need to have an amazing first touch. So yeah, so how do you add the physicality part? If you break down physicality into, let's say, strength / explosiveness and stamina, when you're building up your stamina, do it using the ball. That's what you can do. So you're still both working on your technique and on your stamina. That's so, and you're efficient instead of just going, oh, I'm going to go and run. If sometimes you decide to go and run, don't just go for a jog. I've already said that maybe a million times. Do fartlek, so, or sprints, but basically, what was it called? High intensity interval training. Okay, So very intense, then you rest, very intense, because this mimics the tempo of the game. Okay, in football you're not just out there jogging. You start, you sprint 10 meters, you stop, turn, you go right, you go left, run back, run forward, sideways. So you need to, your training should be mimicking the actual game as much as possible. Okay, in terms of strength. Now, if you're working upper body, that's fine, because when you play football, what muscle groups are you using mostly? Your legs, okay, legs and your core. So upper body is fine. You can go and you can work on your upper body basically, yeah, almost every day. Not every day, but I mean, you can both play football on the day and work your upper body. So you can do 2 sessions. That's fine. But if you want to work on your stamina and play football, that's going to be a bit too much. So don't do that. I would say, again, prioritize technique if and when you can. And just find ways to add here and there other workout. Okay. Also, if you do all those things, that means your workload is going to increase. When your workload increases, you really need to start paying attention to your food. Okay, how much, if you're not eating enough, you're not really going to see any results, especially if you want to build muscle and get stronger. If you're not eating enough, you're basically doing nothing. Okay, so make sure you eat enough. Obviously, most of you, when you're under 18, it doesn't really matter that much. You just eat a lot. Okay, for most people, eat a lot. Supposedly you're training consistently, so you're burning a lot of energy. Just eat. Okay, just eat and try and get your protein in. This is the most important thing. If you're doing you're doing sports, you need protein. You need to consume enough protein because your muscles need it. They need it to repair them. So yeah. Otherwise, you're just working your muscles, breaking the tissue down, and then not enough protein for repair. So you end up weaker. You don't get the adaptation that you're after. So protein. Again, in general, prioritize technique, but after a certain level, at a certain point, why in the last video I said that all those things are equally important. Why? Because at a certain point, okay, let's say you work on your technique, and you become like proficient, you become very, very good technically, you sound. See all those football players, when you look at them at 20, then look at them at 30, you can't really see much of a difference in terms of their technique. Why? Because they've already reached that level. Okay, so let's say technically if you're at that level already, and you still every day you go, you put the cones down, you dribble, in and out, blah blah blah, do all those things, you need to start thinking about a return of investment, a return on investment. So you're investing your time in something, so you're gonna go and train, meaning that's an investment. You put your time into to train something. What are you gonna get out of it? If you're already at this elite level technically, you need to start thinking, which area can I work on now that is gonna give me like the biggest improvement? So it's gonna give me the biggest return on my investment. Does that make sense? So you have, let's say you have amazing technique, but physically you're very weak. So now instead of continuing to work on your technique, although you're already at this top level, it's gonna be more beneficial to you if you actually slow it down a little bit with your work on your technique, and get in the gym a little bit, put a little bit of weight, put a little bit of muscle, become a little bit more explosive, get stronger. This is going to improve you much more than still just technique. Obviously, there is always things to do, but yeah, remember, it all starts with an honest assessment of where you're at. Honest assessment. How you can make that honest assessment is by watching yourself. This is the best way, because when you're playing, you kind of feel what is going on, but you don't see it. You need to see it. It's way more objective when you actually see with your eyes what's happening. So if you can watch yourself, even when you're by yourself, record yourself, look at look at a video of yourself just doing anything, and you're gonna be able to see, am I moving right? You know, you should have watched enough games. You know how you're supposed to look. If you don't look good, you've got a lot of work to do. If you look good, then again, there's always room for improvement. But yeah, video, the camera is the best way to make the assessment. Okay, so try and make an assessment where you're at, and go from there. Okay, so that's a bit more on that question. I'm not gonna spend too long. I'm gonna move on now, jump on to the next. Maybe come back to this next week again, or I don't know, next time. What question did I have? Something similar. What's been your hardest obstacle in your coaching career so far? That's a okay question. That's a good question. So, hardest obstacle in my coaching career. So, as a coach. Okay. So, I would say the hardest part for me has been trying to coach players that don't actually want to improve, because that's kind of that's impossible. You can have the best coach in the world, but if someone doesn't want to learn, you can't really teach him. You can't give people things that they don't want to receive, and yeah, I'm not really someone that takes no for an answer, so I would always try and push it. I have the conviction that I can get everyone to get to where they need to get to, but that's been tough. I've coached probably over 500 players now, and those that don't want to learn, I can't do anything with them. You just can't. I've tried a lot because I have the belief that if I can spend enough time with someone, I can make them see, I can change their mind, maybe put some fire into them. But this belief, unfortunately, is I can't say if I'm gonna stick with it. Okay, I'm not sure whether that's gonna hold up in the long run. I might just say, well, if you don't want it, you don't want it. I'm kind of almost there now. Some players, they just don't want it. You can say, it doesn't really matter what you do and what you ask and what you say. They just don't. And it's frustrating. It's a very frustrating thing to see, especially when it's like an adult. That's fine, adults, man, you don't wanna learn, you don't wanna get better. Okay, that's fine. Do whatever you wanna do. But when you see a child, and they've got no enthusiasm and they're lazy and they don't really want. That's depressing. And you're just kind of there. Wow. Sad. It's a sad moment. But what can you do? What can you do? So I've kind of dialed it back a little bit. That's why I'm doing this podcast, soulcast now. So I've already said, anyone that wants to know, there you go. You've got the place. You can come, watch, maybe learn something. Okay. Because all those things, a lot of the things that I'm talking about now, I've talked about them to some of my players, and you can imagine I've had some players for 4 years now. I've coached the same players. Some of them, they still don't. I've had some players that I've told them the same thing maybe 100 times, no result. They just don't want to listen, and in 100 different ways, and still nothing works. Why? Because you cannot teach someone something that they don't want to learn. That's why. And you can't make someone do something that they don't want to do. But I still believe that I can. So that's on me. But I'd rather have that mindset, this positive mindset of gonna keep believing in my ability to make a positive change in anyone. So any player, I don't really look at someone, that's a lost cause. That's not really a good belief to have. So I'm gonna stick to my positivity for now and just see what happens. The thing that I'm conscious about now, though, is obviously when I'm trying to coach someone, and I can see, does he really want to learn? And I start second guessing early now. I'm like, okay, this guy that doesn't really seem like he's into it. I might just go and coach this other guy because he actually wants to be here and he listens, and everything I've told him, he's done it immediately, and he looks like he wants to be here. So why punish him? And why waste my time with this guy that doesn't want to actually, that is just kind of wasting my time because he's not learning anything. He's not actually listening. So I'm wasting my words and my time talking to him in a desperate attempt to get a result, get a positive result. Well, over there, I will have the positive result. So that's a tough thing to balance. And it took me a while to get it right. I'm still getting it right. Obviously, it will get better with time, but that's difficult. But the worst thing is to get someone that is not interested, and you're expected to coach him and to make him better. That's painful. That's just like facing a wall, and you just start hitting your head in a wall. Bam. Anyway, enough on that. Pretty much I've made myself clear here. So let's see what's next. Again, just the feminine phone, which of course is not mine, just to highlight. Don't want to get anything too depressing again. Blah 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 blah. Just scroll here and there. Oh my god, it's depressing. I want to find something less. I'm bombarded with these philosophical questions, and I just want to get something that can transition us just a little bit easier. Does power change people, and why I said last time I answered that. Why does money change people, considering the fact that it's imaginary value? Okay, that's fine. That's not too difficult to answer. So, okay, I already said this is similar to the power question. from last time. But money, obviously, money gives you power. It gives you the ability to do certain things. It does not change you. Whatever you are with no money, you're the same thing with money, but you just show it more. Beforehand, you didn't really show it. Okay, you were too weak, scared. You didn't want to show it. That's the problem. Now you think, oh yeah, I've got money. Yeah, I'm the man now. You're just Mickey Mouse, mate. Um, but yeah, considering the fact that it's not imaginary value. Okay, if you read a little bit on the history of money and what it actually is, it's not imaginary value. It's just money is just storage of value. Okay, so instead, you know, I'm not exactly sure when they came up with money. I don't really remember. That's not too important fact to remember. But I would say I've read about 10 books to do with money and stuff like that. So it's not imaginary value. It's just convenient. It's convenient to have money and to use money, because what happened before, let's say just what let's say 10,000 years ago. What happened then? Well, I'm a farmer. I've got a fucking oops. I'm gonna try not to swear, by the way. I've got potatoes, and you've got a dog, and I want this dog. Okay, I'll give you one kilo of potatoes. Give me that dog. It's just you see why you need money, because now we've all got money, and we kind of attach certain price to certain things, and instead of just barter all the time, trading this for that, just boom boom, money. Use money. Okay, it's not imaginary value. It actually has value, and you can, yeah. I can talk a lot more about money, but it's a bit boring for me today. Maybe another time I can talk about money. But money is important to understand what it is. Okay, so go read a little bit about it. Educate yourself so you know what's happening. I'm not saying go and read about government and politics. Just know what money is. Okay, I can kind of explain it, but I don't really want to right now. So I wanna move on. I wanna talk about something else, not money. Not now. Other time, maybe, yeah. But give me a question. Give me something more specific. But what you need to remember is not imaginary value. It is actually, it holds value. Now, yeah, yeah. Let's go with that. Money is in my just a final thought. Money is imaginary thing, but the value that it holds is real. Okay, money, like only about 3% of all the money in the world actually exist in cash. The rest is just digits on a screen, so pixels. So the value is real, but money is imaginary. It's just a tool that people use to transfer value. Yeah. Whoa, what's happening with this sun, man? Okay, what's the next question? Whoops, okay. Is that better? I don't know. All of a sudden it's sunny. Is overthinking a blessing or a curse? Overthinking is, it depends. It depends. What is your definition of overthinking? People use it in a negative way, overthinking. I said last time, thinking is good. Overthinking is when you think about something too much. Oh, then it's not a good thing. But overthink. How you deal with overthinking? You need to deal with your emotions. Okay, emotions are the cause of overthinking. Why can you not stop thinking? Because you're emotional. Okay, if you deal with the emotions, then you can deal with overthinking. Why? Because when I tell my brain Okay, stop thinking about this. We need to think about something else. This is not useful at the moment. And then, boom, I stop. I start thinking about something else. Now that was very difficult. I've spent a long time trying to fix this, because just your brain naturally wanders to a certain place. And when you get to a point where you actually have when you have control of where your thoughts go, that's a good place to be. Okay, so yeah, overthinking is not good in general, because it's a waste of time. Okay, you think about something. If you get to the bottom of it, move on. Think about something else. Okay, how I kind of dealt with it in the beginning. What did I do? I've got many little strategies and tactics for dealing with things like that I've kind of found just by myself. Obviously, I've read a lot of books about all those things, so I've had like just a massive shift in my mindset and in my outlook on life and all those things, because of all of the books that I've read. But some things that I used, small, like little things that I did, I remember, if I would think about something that I didn't want to think, I would have like something that I'm very interested in, and just boom, immediately just go to the other thing. Does that make sense? So let's say, um, I don't know, let's say I really like, what is very interesting to me, a lot of things. But let's say, okay, I'm gonna give you an example what it actually helped me. Like I like samurai and all this ancient stuff, Japanese culture, Chinese philosophers, all those, all these guys, the ancient Chinese philosophers and Zen Buddhists and all that, samurai from Japan. So I remember, if I would start when I would start thinking about something that I didn't want to think about, I would like go and get a book with me. Sometimes I've carried a book with me for a long time. Just open the book, just force myself, and just start. Okay, all the samurai, wow, and I start reading about them. Okay, so I would have something that can capture my attention for long enough, meaning like 1 minute. So my brain shifts from that thing that I didn't want to think about to that other thing that I actually am interested in. And over time, I just removed the samurai and all this. So when I think about something, I just kind of taught myself to just shift my thoughts onto something else. Okay, so kind of develop this mental break. Stop. Let's think about something else. There's no point thinking about this now. And I can kind of now, I'm thinking about something. Okay, now this is getting pointless now. Why am I spending time thinking about this? This is unrealistic, or whatever I'm thinking about. Just something in the past, or just pointless. So I just stop. I catch myself. I stop. Okay, I need to move on to something else. And a lot of times it was those, whether it was like a Chinese philosopher that lived like 2,500 years ago, and their teachings, because they're difficult to understand. So when you read them and you constantly have your mind blown, oh wow, and because they don't really use many words, so you need to start kind of scratching your head and trying to interpret what they meant. And that was interesting to me. And then over time, I kind of developed the ability just to catch myself doing it, stop, boom, and then just go and think about something else. But if you don't really have many interests, then it gets difficult. Okay, it gets a bit difficult. So it's good to have a lot of interests. As I said, I'm a curious person. I'm interested in a lot of things, so that kind of helps me. 'Cause I see something, oh, that's not, I want to know something about this. I want to know something about that. Da, 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 da. So yeah, that's how. Overthinking, negative. You need to learn how to deal with it. It is not good if you cannot control it. Next question. How do we cope with the sacrifices and setbacks along the way of pursuing our dreams? How do we cope with the sacrifices and setbacks? Okay, let me think about how am I gonna attack this question? How am I gonna approach it? So how do you cope with them? Well, first, obviously, when you start something, if it's your dream, when you have a goal, before starting, you need to, what I do is, when I'm thinking about starting something, I'm thinking about, okay, do I really want this? Okay, do I really want this? I've never really just gone and done things and taken them seriously if I beforehand didn't decide, like, okay, I'm actually gonna go for this, and whatever happens, happens. So I had this. I already had made up my mind beforehand, and my mind was set. I'm doing this, whatever it costs. I can live with it. But I've decided that that was my decision. I made it, and now I can't quit. So whatever it takes, that's it. Now, how do you deal with it? It's frustrating sometimes, and how I've dealt with it is because obviously in the past I've had times. I remember when I was younger, kind of, sometimes you feel a little bit sorry for yourself. Oh, I'm missing this, I'm missing that. What if this doesn't happen? What if that doesn't happen? Well, it sucks. But if you have a strong enough purpose and belief in what you're doing, you deal with it. But you just need to push through. You need to push through. Just sucks. You need to accept the fact that it's not gonna be enjoyable. I don't think that a lot of people, they don't understand that there are things that are very unpleasant. Okay, and what is not, what people don't talk about, they just mention it. Oh yeah, hard work and that. But you, when you think about something, I don't want you to get discouraged, but when you think about something, and obviously when most people, when they have dreams, they're thinking something big. Yeah, whoa, I'm gonna get this, there, that. I'm gonna do this, do that. For most people, obviously, for some people, they're a bit more. Things kind of go their way. That's out of your control. But when you decide on to do something, if you're gonna do something significant and meaningful, the amount of work and sacrifice that that thing is gonna take is gonna be, whatever you think about, whatever you think of that is gonna cost you, it's gonna cost you 10 times that. So you need to go into whatever you go into with the mindset of I'm willing to give everything. If you don't have that mindset, just don't start it. That's not your thing. Why would you do that then? Just don't start. No point. Okay, so you need to have that mindset just before, because this is gonna push you when you don't feel like doing it. When you're like, oh, look, everyone else is doing this and that, and what am I doing? I'm just sat here. I've got this to do tomorrow. Oh, I'm working today. Everyone else is off. Why am I working? Ugh. Well, why? Because you want to get somewhere. you want to get somewhere. And it's just with time, this is where the power of discipline comes in. With time, all those days that you spend being very disciplined and working hard and doing all those things that you don't necessarily want to do, but you know you have to. The more time you do that, you develop your mental strength, and then when setbacks come, you're equipped. You're ready to deal with them a lot better than someone who does just whatever they feel like doing. Does that make sense? There is actually there are studies now that actually show there is area of the brain. I'm not sure about what the name was, because it's quite new, that gets bigger and bigger, obviously, that you can develop by working hard. It's like literally you can develop your willpower by working hard. That's great. That's insane. But it only shows it is real. Discipline is so good for you that you can't even imagine. Just doing things that are not pleasant regularly. That discipline is it's like a shield that you can use. The more you develop it, when bad things come, you can rely on it. That discipline, that mental strength that you built, that's gonna carry you through, don't worry. Okay? But start working on it, start building it. A lot of people, they just don't see the value in discipline. But you see the value when things go wrong. And why people can't really see it is because no one wants to think about just bad things and unpleasant times, or no one wants to think about things going wrong, because it's not a nice place to be mentally, or mentally to go there. It's not fun imagining all those things going bad, but you have to. You have to, because you have to prepare for them. When you prepare for them, then when they come, you know what's going on. So I don't wanna. I said I don't wanna go into too depressing topics. That was almost depressing. But yeah, that's enough on this for now. Da-da-da-da-da. What's next? Something less serious, maybe. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm just gonna swipe and just boom. What is the most important lesson you hope to teach others? Oh, Jesus Christ. Jose Rodriguez. What's the most important lesson you hope to teach others? There's a couple of things. I've already said I would like for people to start thinking. Yeah, if people could learn how to think, that would be good. I don't really. There are many lessons. I can't really give you an answer, just like a single lesson that I would like to teach others, as if like I'm some sort of a guru, you know. I don't know. I just want to set a positive example with my actions, and people can learn everyone is going to take something different from you. but I would like to be able to say, like, maybe not today, although, and today also, but let's say I'm about to die. Okay, I'm 120 years old, and I've decided, okay, that's my time has come. Okay, 120 years old at least. That's if I keep drinking Red Bull. Otherwise, I might live longer. Anyway, let's not go off topic. I would like to look back and say, yeah, you look at my life and you see discipline. I will be very happy with that. So if that's a lesson, if you could say that's a lesson, yeah, then yeah, discipline, just discipline, the beauty of discipline. Oh yes, just thinking about this is nice. Nice, yeah. I can imagine it right now, just on my deathbed, and looking back and saying, I've got no regrets. The amount of work that I actually put into just everything, just every day, the amount of hard work that came out of me, just this one person, is. I'd want to look back and be proud of that. So if you can say that that's a lesson, then maybe yeah, take that as a lesson. But discipline is the most, I would say, is the most valuable things that a person can have. The thing is, you need to discipline. It's got a price tag on it, but it's not something that you can buy and kind of have. It's like a direct debit, but you need to pay every day. every every day money is coming out of your account to have this thing, to have the subscription for discipline. Every day you need to pay every day. The what If you stop for one day, you've gone backwards. Discipline, mental toughness, I use them kind of interchangeably, because the highest form of mental strength and mental toughness is discipline. If you think about it, I'm not going to go into it now because I want to just move on, get to a different question. But if you think about it, it is. Why? Because some people say, oh no, I'm mentally tough. This happened to me, that happened to me, this. Yeah, but those things happen to you. You didn't put yourself there. They just kind of happen to you. Just bad things happen anyway. Okay? So just because just because bad things have happened to you that have been out of your control, it doesn't mean that you're tougher because you've been forced to go through them. You haven't put yourself there. They just came to you, and you had two options: to decide and shoot yourself or something, or just to kind of deal with it. But it doesn't mean that you've dealt with them successfully. It doesn't mean that you've overcome them and all this. You just they just happen to you. So I really don't like when people go, oh, but what have you gone through? No, no, no. The highest form of mental strength and toughness is discipline. Why? Because discipline is in your control completely. So you, every day, to be disciplined, it requires you yourself to make the decision every single day to wake up and to actually go and do something that you don't necessarily want to do, but you have to do it. And you need to do that every day. So what is tougher? Just some things to happen to you, and you have two options: die or live, and kind of accept to as best as you can. Which one is tougher? The tougher one is the other one. Every day you wake up, and instead of, oh mate, today I'm gonna, you say, nope, I need to go out and put in the work. That's much tougher. Imagine doing that for a week. Maybe not so difficult. For a month, starting to get difficult. Imagine doing that for years. But what's the reward? The reward is that you at all times, like, you live with no fear. You live with no fear. Why? Because you're prepared for anything. Nothing can bother you. Why? Because you're prepared. Because you put yourself through things every single day, and you're just tough. You're just tough. It's like you're in shape mentally. You're in shape. You're strong. Because every day you work on that muscle, that mental muscle. So, and it sucks that you need to go through those things every day that you put yourself through. They need to be unpleasant. If they're pleasant, then you're not really working on your discipline, because it gives you pleasure doing that thing. But you put yourself through this every day. People say, oh yeah, but why would I? And then I've just suffered for a long time for no reason. No. You know why? Because you put yourself through those things every day. Let's say for an hour, or for 3 hours, or for 5 hours. But the rest of the time, and when you lay in your bed at night, you know you have this inner sense of peace, because you've done, because you already you're not really, you don't really fear anything. You're not afraid, oh, this is going to happen, that is, because you're prepared. You can deal with it. You're strong. You've put in the work. So pays out. It really, it pays off. It pays off. So many people just live, and they just live in constant fear, even if it's like not conscious. And that sun is torturing me, honestly. So many people live in fear. You might not be like scared, but at the back of your head, you know exactly the things that you haven't faced, and the things that, if they when they happen to you, know that they're gonna break you. And that's, which one is better? Knowing that whatever comes my way, I've got it. So that, or, man, yeah, that's good. And then someone says, what if this happens? Oh, don't talk about this. You see? So you've got this kind of insecurity, not even insecurity, but just kind of fear of this thing happening. And you kind of just look the other way. It's not good to look the other way. It's good to be able to sit back, relax, knowing that whatever happens, happens. That's where you're calm. That's why a lot of people, they're not calm. And they can easily get triggered and angry and all this. Why? Because they can't deal with certain things. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Because I can continue to talk about this topic for hours. This is like one of my favorite topics, probably. But it's not a good topic. Like, most people, they wouldn't really. These things are not, they make sense when someone says them, but they're difficult to listen to, and to, yeah. Yeah. Okay, what else do we have? Something less tough. I'm seeing some questions about his depression here. Next time, maybe. Da-da-da-da. Okay, I don't know. I just want to finish with something just a little bit less. Okay, something fun. There's nothing fun. Everything is just serious. Our emotions weakness if you cannot. Our emotions are weakness if you cannot control them. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of simple. Yeah, they're massive weakness. If you can't control your emotions, then your emotions are gonna control you. Okay. That's been said like a million times, but yeah, if you can't control your emotions, then someone who can control your emotions is gonna control you. You know. Well, honestly, that sun, shocking. Anyway, I need to maintain my stoic expression. The sun is just there. I'm here. I've got nothing to do with the sun, apart from the fact that obviously the sun revolves around me. But the sun is there. I'm here. It's gonna continue torturing me. So now I've got two options. I can keep complaining or just accept it. Keep sweating. Because I'm start fucking just continue talking. So controlling your emotions. I'm not really gonna I'm not gonna answer seriously to that question now, because I'm almost 1 hour in. I wanna wrap this up. But yeah, you need to control. If you can't control your emotions, okay, you're feminine. Honestly, I only see acceptable. I only see. Okay, okay. So if you cannot control your emotions, you are feminine. I don't care who says what. I'm telling you, you're feminine if you cannot control your emotions. It's very simple. If you can't, you're feminine, guys. Girls, I give them a pass. They're okay, but they need to be emotional. Emotions are very important to them. So that's okay. But if you're a real man, and that's not toxic masculinity, that's just basic. You can't you can't let your emotions control you. You've got things to do. You need to be reliable. I'm generalizing here. A man needs to be reliable. Why? Because let's say you're gonna have a wife, you're gonna have kids. You need to take care of them. You need to take care of your family. You can't take care of your family if you're not reliable. You're not gonna be as reliable as possible if if uh, if you're too emotional. Does that make sense? Because your emotions are gonna sway you. Guys, hold on. I'm gonna go and fucking fix that. No, I'm not. Just gonna finish that and just wrap it up. I'm not gonna stand here like a sunflower. Yeah, emotions, they just swing you left and right. They just go from here to there, back, forward, up, down, just all over the place. You need to be able to control them so you can keep being reliable, because you have a job to do or whatever else you have to do. You need to, yeah, reliability, one of the main qualities that you need to have, like that most men have to have in order to have a family. You're not reliable as a man, chances of having a family very low. Okay, so yeah, you need to keep your emotions under control. So yeah, that's gonna be the last question that I ask, because I need to. I'm gonna. I've had enough. I've had enough of that sun, and yeah, I'll see you. Well, I'm not gonna see anyone. I'm gonna talk to the camera again next time. Okay.